Good day everyone, I am Julius Christopher de Guzman and I will be discussing how to solve circuit problem 4.31 where we're tasked with finding the power delivered by the 60 angle of zero source using nodal analysis. The circuit looks like this. I've assigned the values of impedances, sources, and current directions. We have a voltage controlled current source, a current-controlled voltage source, and here's our terminal points 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and node 5 being our reference point, that's why V sub 5 is equal to 0. We have a supernode here and a supernode here. That's why let's use a KVL at supernode 1, which is B sub 2 minus 60 angle of 0 minus B sub 5 is equal to 0. But B sub 5 is equal to 0. That's why B sub 2 now is equal to 60 angle of 0 volts. Now let's have KVL at supernode 2. B sub 5 minus 12 I sub 1 minus B sub 4 is equal to 0. But as you noticed, I sub 1 is equal to B sub 1 minus B sub 2 all over the impedance 1 angle of negative 60. That's why our new equation now is negative 12 of I sub 1, this is the new equation of I sub 1. That's why our B sub 4 is now equal to 12 angle of negative 120 B sub 1 plus 720 angle of 60. That is our first equation. Now let's use a KCL at node 1 wherein the currents entering is equal to currents exiting the terminal. That's why the currents entering is only letter A and the currents exiting the node 1 is I sub 1 and 2 angle of 30. That's now our equation here is A is equal to I sub 1 plus 2 angle of 30. Transposing I sub 1, A minus I sub 1 is equal to 2 angle of 30. And as you noticed, our A is equal to B sub 4 minus B sub 1 all over the impedance 6 angle of 45. And I sub 1 is B sub 1 minus B sub 2 all over the impedance 1 angle of negative 60. That's now, here is our equation. And by simplifying, this is our equation. And this is our second equation. Now, let's substitute the first equation and the value of B sub 2 to equation 2. Now that's 0.97 angle of negative 129.55 B sub 1 plus 1 angle of 60, the value of B sub 2, which is 60 angle of 0, plus 0.167 angle of negative 45, our equation 1, which is 12 angle of negative 120 V sub 1 plus 720 plus 60 is equal to 2 angle of 30. Now by manipulating the equation and simplifying it, our B sub 1 now is equal to 58.278 angle of 3.23 volts. Now we substitute the V sub 1 in equation 1 to get the V sub 4. And now our equation is V sub 4 is equal to 12 angle of negative 120, the value of V sub 1, plus 720 angle of 60. V sub 4 now is equal to 45.007 angle of negative 1.109 volts. Next is let's get the KCL at node 3. So the KCL at node 3, the currents entering is B and 2 angle of 30. The currents exiting at node 3 is only C. That's why our equation is 2 angle of 30 plus B is equal to C. Now by simplifying or manipulating the equation, B minus C is equal to negative 2 angle of 30. Now our letter B is equal to B sub 2 minus B sub 3 all over the impedance 10 angle of 30. And our letter C is equal to B sub 3 minus B sub 5 all over the impedance 5 angle of 60, wherein our V sub 5 is equal to 0. Substituting the value of B sub 2, that is 60 angle of 0. That's why we'll get the value of B sub 3. Now, our value of B sub 3 is equal to 24.78 angle of 34.002 volts. Now, let's get the value of B sub B so that we'll get the value of the current here. The value of B sub B is equal to B sub 2 minus B sub 3, and now our B sub B now is equal to 41.82 angle of negative 19.352 volts. Now let's have KCL at node 2. So this is our node 2. The currents entering at node 2 is I sub 1 only, and the currents exiting is twice the volts of B, and the current of 60 angle of 0. That's why our equation is I sub 1 is equal to B plus twice the voltage of B plus the current of 60 angle of 0, wherein the current of 60 angle of 0 is equal to I sub 1 minus B minus twice the voltage of B. Now, we have an equation for I sub 1, B, and twice of voltage of B. That's why the current of 60 angle of 0 is equal to 90.829 angle of 160.071 ampere. Now, to get the power delivered by 60 angle of 0, which is our source, is let's multiply the voltage and the current of the 60 angle of 0, and by rectangular form, that is negative 5,123.386 plus I 1,857.573 volt ampere. And the real number in this rectangular form is the power delivered by 60 angle of 0, which is negative 5,123.386 watts. I hope you learned on this discussion. Thank you.